Hi friends, welcome back to Rouse Rising. My name is Katie and welcome to my new kitchen. Today we are making cream of chicken soup. This is a part of the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, the Three Rivers Challenge. We have done a tiny bit of grocery shopping, but I have used up all my staples and we are in need of some cream of mushroom soup to make this chicken casserole. You're gonna love it. Let's get into it. All right, friends, we're back today and we are gonna make a chicken casserole. And to make the chicken casserole, I need cream of chicken soup, but I don't have any in the can. So we're gonna make some here at home. And how you do that is you make a roux with your butter and your flour. So we're gonna make that and we're gonna add some chicken broth and some milk and some of this emergency food stores chicken flavor bouillon. This is what I'm gonna use. We're gonna start out over here by melting a stick of butter. And you can use a medium size sauce pot for this. Like what, a 4 to 6 quart, and we're just gonna put the butter in there. So now I've gotten myself into a predicament because I need seasonings and spices for this, and I haven't unpacked them yet. So we're just gonna do that real quickly. All right, I need celery salt. This is what I was looking for. Poultry seasoning, we'll use that too. Here's the garlic powder. So we're gonna start with these. I gotta find the onion too, celery. Poultry seasoning. For this, we've got garlic powder, celery salt, onion powder, poultry seasoning, chicken stock, flour, which I'm gonna go ahead and add to it now because we've got it going. We're gonna do half a cup and a tablespoon. We're gonna get this stirred up. I probably used too much butter, but this is going in with a rice and chicken dish, so it needs all the fat that it can get. To add a little bit more in there. It only called for 4 tablespoons of butter and I put in double. Let that cook for just about a minute. All right, we're gonna add about 2 cups of chicken stock. Do about 1 cup of milk, whole milk preferred, and then we're going to do about 1/3 teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and some celery salt. About 1/3 teaspoon to each of those. I'm gonna do a little bit extra because I'm making a little bit more. And I'm also gonna add a touch of poultry seasoning because it makes everything tasty. All right, get those mixed in. You can also taste it to see if you need seasoning. We are gonna add some pepper and we are gonna add some salt. Like I said, this is going in a casserole, so we can go a little bit heavier with our seasoning because we're gonna have rice in this casserole and chicken. All right, we're also gonna add a little bit of bouillon to this. That's why I said you might wanna watch your salt because bouillon is gonna be salty. So add a cube of bouillon, or this is 1 teaspoon, about what was left in there. All right, so now my cream of chicken soup is done. It's gonna thicken up as it bakes too. This is not the condensed can form, so you're not gonna have, this isn't gonna be super thick like that, but as it cooks and as it cooks in the casserole, it's going to thicken up even more. Now I'm gonna demonstrate the consistency of this soup. I did use a whole wheat flour in my soup, so there is a little bit of texture to it that's real nice. It's like a thinner, more savory version of cream of wheat. It's a lovely cream of chicken soup. All right, we are gonna make a chicken casserole, and this is what we have to go in it. So we've got our cream of chicken soup that we just made. We've got broccoli florets, we've got a package of chicken thighs, and we have some rice. And now it's our job to put it all in this giant bowl and mix it up and make a delicious meal. First thing we're gonna do though is come over here to this oven that I have never used before. My family has used it to heat up pizzas. So we're gonna do upper oven bake 375. I'm assuming this is upper oven start. It's going now, and we are gonna start assembling this delicious casserole. So go ahead and I'm gonna start with this one pan, and we're just gonna put some ghee in it. It says to use cooking spray, but I don't really use a lot of cooking spray. Okay. That is supposed to help make our mess or clean up a little bit easier. We're going to dive into the bowl with that. We are going to cut this chicken open and get it cut up. If you're looking for a way to stretch your chicken, this casserole dish is an excellent way to do that. So I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs, although the recipe does call for chicken breast. You will find certain cuts of meat are more economical at the grocery store, so find what's available to you. There's nothing wrong with the chicken thighs. That's actually the preferred cut of meat that we like to get because it's always juicy and delicious. So to my large bowl, I've added 1 cup of chicken broth. You can use stock or bone broth. Likewise, you can also use the chicken flavored bouillon and make a cup of broth that way and add it to your casserole. That just helps to account for the liquid needed to cook the rice. Over a pound of chicken, 1 package of broccoli. We did 1 cup of rice. And then we're adding in our cream of mushroom soup. Now, I will say in retrospect, because this was the first time I've ever made this casserole, and honestly, I don't make casseroles typically, but I would have added all of the cream of chicken soup at once and gotten it all mixed up and incorporated, because as you're gonna see, I'm gonna pour some on the top and try to mix it in. It would have just been better to have it evenly distributed throughout the casserole all at once. So the amount that I made in my sauce pot turned out to be just enough for this casserole dish. It filled it up to the brim when all was said and cooked. Once the rice expanded, it was plenty. So there, I'm still deciding, because as I said earlier in this video, I made more of the cream of chicken soup than what the original recipe called for. And if you want the original recipe, it is linked down below in this video's description. You can find all the details down there. We're then gonna cover this with some foil, nice and tight. And when I do bake things like this, if they're questionable, new to me, I put them on a baking sheet to avoid any spills or burnt messes in the oven. Now this is a new to me oven, so I am learning how to use it. And to set the timer, it's just slightly different than my previous oven, but we're gonna start out with 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna give it an additional 10 minutes after I stir it. You're gonna see here, I take it out, I remove the foil, give it a stir, and I thought, well, I don't think this is ready for the cheese and last 20 minutes just yet. So I'm gonna put the foil back on and put it in for about 10 more minutes. So that's gonna take us up to 40 minutes for the casserole cook time. Then I'm gonna add the cheese, and I'm gonna add about another 20 minutes to the cook time. So we're looking at an hour. I would say that this casserole cooks up in about an hour. You can see it's still pretty soupy as I'm giving it a little stir right now. It is fairly soupy, so it does need a little bit more time. Going back into the oven for about 10 more minutes. One very awesome feature of this oven I must tell you about is when the timer goes off, the oven heater, the oven heating unit, turns off so that your food doesn't burn. So you can see back there on the display, my oven timer turned off, and I was honestly busy doing something else. And and I was like, well, it's casserole. It'll be fine if the heat's still on for a few more minutes. I didn't realize until I walked over to the oven to remove it that the heat had cut off as well. So smart oven, smarter than me, because I would have left it and burnt it probably. So that was the full 40 minutes and you can see my rice is cooking up lovely. There is still a bit of liquid in here, but that is all gonna be absorbed in the next 20 minutes and thicken up. So it's not gonna be nearly this soupy. It just looks like it right now. So here we go with the cheese. And let's say that was about a half a pound of cheese-ish. And I am using a raw cheddar that I get from Azure Standard. I buy it in 5-pound blocks and then I divvy it up into little 1-pound blocks, and those go in the freezer for when I need them. And I am all out of cheese. That was my last block since we've been in the pantry freezer challenge for the last, ever since probably November. I have grocery shopped occasionally, but I have used up almost all of my staples. So it's time to get back to the grocery store, or time to place my Azure Standard order and get some cheese, get some all-purpose flour. Even though I do mill most of my flour, I do use all-purpose flour, and there's some other things that we need. So check out this casserole. Because of the type of cheese that I use, the raw cheese, and I didn't put this under a broiler, it did not brown up in the 20 minutes that it sat in the 375-degree oven, but that's okay. You do see some of the cream of chicken soup bubbling through, nice and delicious. Now remember, if you use all-purpose flour in your recipe, your cream of chicken soup is not gonna look as tan as mine does. So I'm gonna dish this up for all 7 of my family members, and I must say, this was a new family favorite. I did not think we could top the Salisbury steak. I did not think we could top the meatloaf, but here we've done it, folks. We've topped both of those, and the whole family said, we think this is our new favorite. And to which I said, why can't they all be your favorites? Because they're all gonna be things that I'm gonna be cooking in the future, because they filled our bellies, they nourished us, and they were so good. All the meals that I just mentioned. Go check them out in my previous vlogs, and I hope you feel inspired to try making chicken casserole if you've never made it before. I hope you feel inspired to make cream of chicken soup, because hello, easiest thing to make. I don't know why anybody would buy it from a can. I will say I'm buying some cream of mushroom soup in a can, and that is because mushrooms are testy, and maybe I won't get to make the dish that requires cream of mushroom soup before the mushrooms go bad. That's just, you know, life is just the way it is sometimes for me, and I don't want the mushrooms to go bad. So I'm ordering from Azure some cream of mushroom soup so that we can have our delicious Salisbury steak anytime we want. You don't have to have cream of mushroom soup to make Salisbury steak, but we found it made a very delicious gravy. And like I said, I encourage you to check out that recipe because it is so yummy, and I did not realize how easy Salisbury steak was. It was something I only ate in hot school lunches, and my mom would buy the Salisbury steak TV dinners, and we would eat those too. So I had never had it homemade, and it's been years since I've had a chicken casserole. Just like I said, casseroles haven't been my thing in the past, but I'm starting to think that chicken casserole and other types of casseroles are definitely in our future. We love to make things like enchiladas and other types of casserole dish meals, so this is going on the meal plan. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!